Hey guys, it's Lily. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be talking to you guys about things I wish I would have known before having a baby as a first-time mom. This is going to be really real and raw. Truly, I wish I would have known these things. Everyone's journey through motherhood is different. Everyone's baby is different. You know, some of these things that I have struggled with, maybe you will not struggle with or you haven't struggled with. But I do feel like throughout talking to different moms and stuff like that, that these are things that I am not the only one that has struggled with, and I wish were more talked about, I guess. And so that's why I really feel like, especially now that I'm a mom, I just am so passionate about telling other people like my experience and just some things that I have gone through that makes other women not feel as alone, and also can help prepare future moms. You can't really prepare fully until you're actually in it, until you actually know what your baby is like and how they are. But these things I feel like are pretty common and things that I wish was talked about more, and maybe it is, and maybe I'm just not getting that content to me. But I feel like I did not really know these things or really expect these things, and that is where I really struggled the most. I want to say I'm not using a microphone because last video, the sound, if you watched it, it was like kind of bad, like half of the video, because for some reason my microphone, I think it was dying, but the batteries are new, so I don't know. Maybe I just have to get a new microphone, but I'm just going without a microphone today. So number one thing that I wish I would have known or prepared for as a first-time mom was baby sleep. Now, obviously, I tried to prepare mentally to be exhausted, to be on very little sleep. Sleep deprivation is real, but I feel like people don't really explain what that is like or what to expect with that. You know, I guess what to expect is that you're waking up every so often and you kind of have to just get through it. Well, in my mind, I expected that it would only last a few weeks. I feel like people don't really talk about the ongoing sleep deprivation and for how long it is. Of course, my algorithm when I was freshly postpartum were all these videos of women putting their newborn on a schedule, and their newborn would sleep for like 3-hour stretches, and then they would wake up and they would sleep again for like 2 hours, and then they would wake up again and sleep like 6 hours at night. And I'm watching this as a very freshly postpartum mom, probably like I was watching these videos in the hospital, and when I came home from the hospital and like seeing these videos on my phone, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I feel like that is also something I wish I would have known, was to not watch those videos, because they were really hard mentally, especially as a first-time mom in postpartum. Those videos can really mess with you, because feeling like you're doing something wrong, you're feeling like your baby is doing something wrong or not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or some stuff like that, and it really messed with me. And so then I would watch other videos and it would say, don't worry, by 8 weeks they'll be sleeping better, and you will be getting more sleep and whatever. And then those sleep training books, and I read a few of those before giving birth, and so like a lot of those books were explaining how you can get your baby to sleep 12 hours by 12 weeks old. And so I had this expectation by 12 weeks I can sleep train him and he will be asleep and sleeping for 12 hours. That did not happen, and that is still not happening to this day, and he is 6 months old. Those things really messed with me. When the baby is first born, they have no concept of a rhythm or a sleep schedule. Their circadian rhythm doesn't even develop until about 3 months. And so for those 3 months, you are up very frequently. Now, of course, every baby is different. I will just tell you my experience that my baby was sleeping, the longest stretch was about 3 hours. If I was lucky, once every couple weeks, he slept for 4 hours. So usually a typical night from about newborn to 3 months, a little bit before 3 months, was like getting up every 2 hours. And he was pretty good sleeper for the first few weeks because all he would do was just eat, and then once he ate, he would fall back asleep. Now, he did have some digestive issues or something when he was very, very newborn, like week 1, week 2, week 3. He would projectile vomit once every 24 hours. So it wasn't like every time he ate. So I knew, and I felt in my intuition and felt in my heart that he was not allergic to anything. It was really just his GI tract still developing, and I had a really strong letdown, and so I felt that he was getting too much milk at one time, and so that was causing him to projectile vomit. But it wasn't a big deal. Like, it wasn't like it was every time he ate. That was really hard, but usually, like, for the most part, he would just eat and then fall right back asleep. I would burp him, of course, but after about those few weeks, around 3 months, he had a couple weeks, like I think like 2 weeks, where he only woke up once in the middle of the night. So around 3:45, he would wake up. He would eat and go right back to sleep, and then he would wake up about 6 a.m., 6 or 7. So that was great. And then after that 2-week stretch of good sleep, everything went downhill. So he would sleep for an hour and a half, wake up. He would wake up every hour and a half to 2 hours. He was going through a lot of regressions and milestones. There is a point where he was not napping really at all. So he would sleep good at night, but then he wouldn't nap during the day. So he would take 30-minute naps, literally. He would take 30-minute naps, wake up, be awake, be really, really cranky, really, really fussy the whole time he was awake, and then finally he would go back to sleep, but then only sleep for like 30 minutes. And that was around 3 months. I tried all the tactics. I would take him on car rides because that was usually, he would usually sleep in the car. And literally I would start the timer, and by 30 minutes he would wake up even in the car. So I wish I would have expected nothing. I wish I would have come in with no expectations with sleep. Something about me is that I love schedule. I love a routine. And so after those very new postpartum days, so about after like 2 weeks, I was kind of ready to get on back to a schedule. I was ready to, feel a little bit more like myself. I was able to move a lot better. And so by around 2 weeks, I was ready to get him onto a schedule. So I tried, and I saw those videos on YouTube or on Instagram or TikTok, and I saw that people were putting their babies on a schedule, and so I tried to do that, and it just did not work. He would not go on a schedule, and that was really hard mentally for me because I was seeing other people doing it, and I was wondering why he couldn't do it. And so I really wish I would have just gone with the flow. I really wish I would have just put expectations aside and just let him do him. I did try to do that for the most part. Like, if I wanted to get things done, I'd put him in the carrier. He basically took all of his naps in the carrier, contact napping, until about 4 months, about 3 months, because around 3 months is when I started putting him down for naps. I did try to put him down for naps here and there when from when he was born. He would take some good naps in the crib, but then other times he wouldn't. Like, there was periods of time where he would not like to be put down, and then there was periods of time where he was fine with being put down. So I guess I did go with the flow as much as I could with knowing what I knew and adapting to this whole new life. I definitely have to give myself grace there, but I wish I wouldn't have put so much stress on having him be in a routine. After he turned about 3 months, his sleep was just all over the place, and I really wish I would have expected to not get sleep for honestly the first year. If I would have gone into motherhood expecting to not sleep for a long period of time, I think I would have been a lot better mentally with just sleep in general. But from what other people would say, you know, that their babies would sleep so good after 2 months or after a month. And like, I mean, I know friends whose babies sleep great from the beginning, but my baby just does not. And the next baby that we have, Lord willing, I will just go in with it, like expecting to just for them not to be a good sleeper, because I feel like if you expect that, then if it's better than that, then that's great. But for me, sleep has just been really hard. He turned 6 months a week ago. And on his 6-month birthday, he woke up one time in the middle of the night, and then the next day he slept throughout the whole night, which was the first time ever. And he woke up at 6 a.m. He went back to sleep and then woke up at like 8. So that was the first time ever that he had slept throughout the night. And then ever since then, he's been getting up at least once or twice, but going straight back to sleep after he gets up. I also think his body is still used to waking up in the middle of the night to eat. And I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay with getting up with him because I've just adapted and learned that this is just life, and I'm not going to get angry about it. I'm not going to get mad about it anymore. My body has kind of adjusted to it, so it's not a huge deal to me anymore because it's just what I'm used to. Also, another thing, because I did not mention this, but I have been exclusively breastfeeding him. So he doesn't really take a bottle. And so I wish I would have known that breastfed babies don't sleep as well, because you're not seeing the intake that they're taking in. You're not counting the ounces. You're just counting the minutes that you're feeding them. And so you don't really know how much they're really taking in. Obviously, I trust my body and I know he's taking in what he needs. He's growing and gaining great weight, and I have no worries about the weight gain or anything like that, but there is that guessing game of how much he is taking in. So that is a big thing too. I wish I would have known, because with breastfeeding, they are wanting to eat more frequently and not getting, a full feeding sometimes. I also wish I would have known that breastfeeding, you're going to continue to feed every 2 to 3 hours for 6+ months. I mean, I, during the day, don't go longer than 3 hours without feeding him. And again, he's 6 months old. It is not a burden to me. I actually really enjoy and love breastfeeding. I know a lot of women struggle with it, and a lot of women just struggle with the fact that they feel like they're doing it constantly all the time. But for me, it's actually a moment that I get to sit down and relax. I'm typically a very go person. I don't sit down, I don't relax. And so it actually causes me to sit down and relax and just breathe. And so I really enjoy that. But knowing that you're actually going to continue to be breastfeeding for every 2 to 3 hours for months and months. Now, I do that because that I also feel like if I feed him a lot during the day, then he does have better stretches at night. And that is definitely the case, I feel like. But I did not really realize that before I had him. And so that's another thing that I wish I would have known. The second, thing I wish I would have known as a first-time mom is that milestones are amazing, but they also bring a lot of complications. Mainly with sleep. So with his milestones, he had a lot of milestones back to back. So when he rolled over, he started rolling over from his stomach to his back when he was a little over 3 months, or I think around 3 months. So he started rolling over pretty early. And then literally within like the next month, he rolled over from his back to his stomach. And so because those milestones were super close together, his sleep was just very sporadic, as I've said and mentioned already. There was just no consistency. He was also talking a lot, starting to develop his, voice. Also, being able to really see a lot better, hear a lot better, correlating sounds with people and with other things. Like, it's just a lot. They're learning a lot. And so the first just 5 months is a lot. I wish I would have realized that even though the milestones are great and they're so amazing, it comes with maybe some downhill things. I wish I would have known that too, that like, okay, like he's having a milestone, so he's probably gonna not sleep very well. Or, okay, he's not sleeping very well, that's probably because he's gonna have a milestone. And so now I realize, okay, well, when there's a change in schedule, when there's a change in routine or in sleep, I know that there's probably something happening. Now that I've gone through those milestones as he's now 6 months old, I feel like I will be better mentally going into more milestones, into teething, and into like maybe another sleep regression, because I feel like the worst, I've already been through the worst. And so even if there is another hard moment or hard regression or whatever, I know that like it will pass. So another thing I wish I would have known as a first-time mom, which I kind of already explained, is that breastfeeding is an around-the-clock job for months and months, but also that you will continue to feel hungry. You'll continue to have that need for extra calories for as long as you're breastfeeding. So like for me, I'm 6 months postpartum, so like I'm not freshly postpartum, but I still am hungry a lot. I still require a lot of food to build up and keep up that milk supply. It's really important to continue to eat. I still have to fuel my body. I'm still eating for two, and so I need to like remember that I also need fuel and I also need things as well. And obviously now I'm able to think more clearly. I'm able to prepare better and plan better for eating, and like making sure I eat like 3 meals a day and snack and stuff like that. But I guess I kind of expected to just kind of go back to my normal self after like that newborn time. Another thing I wish I would have known is that this is really, really a key one, is that you don't really get out of the newborn stage or feel like yourself again until after 3 months. I think they say like 8 weeks. At 8 weeks, they're not newborns anymore, but they totally are. Like, they're not in a routine. Their circadian rhythm is not established yet. So they are definitely still in that newborn stage. And I wish this was talked about more, because when you are 3 months postpartum, you're like, why do I not feel like myself again? Why do I still feel like it's the same as week 1 or week 2? And really giving yourself grace and expecting to be a very slow recovery, especially for your first one. I wish I would have prepared more for that. Maybe with 2 or 3 or 4 kids, like, it gets a little bit easier because you know what to expect now, but this is like geared towards first-time moms, because it is hard to predict what it's gonna be like. But definitely going into postpartum knowing that for the first few months it's going to be the same old thing over and over again, pretty much. I just felt very much still in that newborn bubble at like 3 months. But another thing that I wish I would have known as being a first-time mom is that pushing yourself to go out about like after those 3 months, or even like a little bit before that, just to make yourself feel like yourself again, really does help a lot. And I did do this. I didn't expect this, but I did kind of push myself to do it, and I'm really glad I did. And I really wish I would have prepared mentally more for that before going through postpartum, because in my mind I just expected to not go out for a long time. But then going through it, knowing that going out really helped me feel more like myself, being around people, being supported by other people, was just really, really beneficial for me. If I could say anything to you if you are a first-time expecting mom, is that try to find a village, try to find people who will be there for you, because I think that is what helped me absolutely the most Postpartum is my village of people. I had friends who offered to come and watch the baby while I took a shower, or while I cleaned the house. That really actually helped me personally. I love like cleaning, and so obviously postpartum I wasn't able to do that, and I didn't want to do that. But then once a few weeks after I had him and I felt good enough to clean and to get things done, it was really helpful to have my friends come over and watch him. Now, like, they could have come over and cleaned for me, but I really wanted to do it myself, just to kind of give myself a little break. And then I would go out with friends, or I would go out to friends' houses and just hang out with them and get a new scenery. That's just really helpful as well. And so trying to just step out of the comfort zone of your little bubble after a couple weeks is really helpful. Just if it's just like once a week or even once every 2 weeks. It really fueled me. And I was going to put this in the beginning, but I didn't think about it until after I made my list. But newborn hallucinations, okay? I actually did see this when I was postpartum on like TikTok or something, but I did not hear about this before having him. Is that you get these like weird newborn hallucinations in like the first few weeks, honestly the first few months, because I even was still having them here and there, like especially when he was going through those regressions and he was getting up every few hours. I remember the first few weeks I would think that I had fed him already, and I would like had dreams that I had fed him. And so when he would wake up to eat, I'm like, oh, he's already fed, like I already fed him, but I hadn't. So that was super weird. I always track my like feeding on like an app. And so like, but sometimes I would forget to track it because I would literally just feed him half awake. And it's hard because like you're so tired that you don't want to get up and feed him, but like you know you have to. So like that was really like, it felt like my brain was working out, like trying to remember, like, did I feed him? Did I not feed him? Was that a dream? Was that not a dream? I don't even know. So that was super weird. Hearing baby cry, but they're not actually crying is super weird. Like that has recently stopped, I feel like, because like I would think that he's crying, and then I'd look over in the monitor, or when he was sleeping in our room, like I'd look over and he's in like sound asleep. So that was super weird. Also, this is like kind of a newer thing that I've been experiencing, but now that he's sleeping longer and I've gone 6 months with basically waking up every few hours in the middle of the night, feeling a certain way when he sleeps for a long period of time. Like I feel like there's something wrong with him, or I feel like this is really weird. And I want to know if you've experienced this, if you have been through postpartum as a mom, but feeling like I'm a bad mom for letting him sleep that long. Like that sounds crazy, I know. Even last night when I put him to bed at 7, and like he goes to bed around 7:30. And so I have this stretch from like 7:30 to 10 where I can do whatever. And I'm like, man, like he should be awake right now and like playing and like, you know, hanging out with me. And I'm like, but he literally needs to sleep. So it's like weird because I'm just not, my brain's not used to him sleeping that long. So it's like, oh, like he should be awake and like hanging out, but like no, like he needs to sleep. It's good for him to sleep. That's super weird. I wonder, am I the only one that has experienced that? And then last thing is that the craziest thing about being postpartum and a first-time mom is that no matter how hard a day is, no matter how many times you woke up in the middle of the night, it's still the best thing in the world to be a mom. At least for me. I wanted to be a mom my whole life. And so even in the middle of the night when I would have these thoughts like, oh my gosh, I wish he would just be quiet. I wish he would just, you know, sleep. Like, why can't he just sleep? After the night and when the sun would come up, I would just be so in love with him. And it's like the scripture that God's mercies are new every morning. I feel like he gives moms and dads that. And he gives us mercy to extend to our children, because truly, like, I think it's only the Lord's love that can give me that for my child. Because I remember 4 hours ago I was up all night and I barely got any sleep last night, but I look at my child and you see their smile, or you just see them do like the most boring thing ever, but you think it is like the cutest thing ever. Like, just these moments are so fleeting, and I try to grab hold of every moment and I try to cherish every moment, but it's like sand falling through your fingers. Like, you can't hold on to every piece, but you try so hard. And you know, they say don't blink or you'll miss it, and it's true. Like, I try to keep my eyes open, but it's just how life is. The days feel long. Some days are hard, but you look back and you're like, man, why did I wish that day away? Why did I wish that moment away? But in the moment, it's hard. And so that is the mental game, the mental challenge with being a first-time mom, or just a postpartum mom, or just a mom in general. It's just like, you wish you wouldn't have wished that day away, but in the moment, the day was hard, and the moments go by so fast, but they feel forever. And you really can't anticipate that or know what that is like until you go through it. Those are the main things that I really wish I would have known or prepared for. Biggest thing is just expectations. I just wish I would have had very low expectations for sleep. Yeah, that is my video. Let me know if you have anything that you would add to this list of things you wish you would have known postpartum. I would love to hear them. And make sure to follow me on my Instagram, where I'm more active on there, and you can DM me on there to talk and chat with me more. And yeah, I love you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.